What's up guys, it's Zach with Upstairs Studio, back at it again with another video. Today is going to be the first, hopefully of many, of my LMK videos, Let Me Know. Basically, I'm going to take questions that I observe, receive from friends, clients, people like that, sweep it in a nice little pile, make a video, and hopefully it's helpful and you learn something. So, for today's LMK video, these questions come from a gentleman with the moniker of Mr. Fraction. Mr. Fraction and I were talking a few days back and he asked me some pretty good questions. So I figured I would just go ahead, and that's kind of what kicked off the LMK video idea. So here we are. All right guys, if this is your first time checking out my videos, please go ahead and check out the link below. I have a free guide down there that's going to help you kickstart your home recording studio or just your endeavors into home recording. It can be kind of confusing. There's a ton of information out there, so I put some of my best information in a free PDF down below. Like I said, you can just go ahead, click that link in the description, and then you will get your free guide and you'll be on your way to recording at home. So Mr. Fraction's questions are ones that I think a lot of people have, and they're all generally surrounding recording or audio engineering in general. So his first question is it better to record vocals and guitar separate, or is it easier and perhaps is the quality better if you record both on the same track? It's kind of tough. It is sort of situational depending on the musician and how experienced they are in recording. You can get a little more out of a person if they're new to recording and they're playing and singing at the same time. A lot of musicians, they're comfortable, you know, in their mind, they'll be like, all right, and here's the next part. So it is sort of situational. There is some muscle memory out of doing them at the same time. For me, I do like to have separate tracks for that so you can manipulate them in different ways, because sometimes you'll need to EQ something out or embellish something that maybe the vocals and the guitar, they bleed over into each other in that frequency range. So you're not able to really get much out of either of them. So it's good to have, if you can, record them separately. Even if you only have a single input, yes, that does mean that you'll have to do one take and then to do the other take. But sometimes it's good to do it that way so you can really get in there almost surgically. But if you're looking for like a really intimate feel, sometimes it's good to record it both at the same time. So it's kind of situational. All right, question number 2 from Mr. Fraction. What do you think makes the difference between a good recording and a great recording for guitar? So this one's a little more subjective. In broad brushstrokes, you definitely want to have presence with your recording. You don't want it to sound thin. You don't want it to sound super low end and boomy to where it sounds kind of muddy. You want it to be, you want clarity, I think, above anything else. So you definitely want presence and clarity. Those are probably the two biggest things that you want when you're recording really anything, whether it's vocals, whether it's guitar, whether it's trumpet. You want there to be clarity and understanding of what you're trying to achieve. So that's probably the biggest thing. It's just making sure it's clear, concise, and not muddled up or abrasive in the high end, because that can happen with some instruments. All right, question number 3. What are some ways an engineer could help relax the performer to get them more comfortable and more authentic performance? So this one kind of falls on the experience of the recording engineer. I've seen a lot of new guys, they get really nervous. They've almost stressed themselves out more to the point where now the musician is nervous and it makes them nervous. The recordings aren't good, the performances aren't good, everyone's frustrated. And then it just kind of falls apart. Everyone walks away just not happy, and it's just a kind of a bad taste in your mouth about how that went. So just stay calm as an engineer. You know, there's a lot of times where, you know, maybe you forgot to hit record. Maybe the microphones are going out. Maybe your cord's bad. Maybe your headphones are bad. Maybe the guitar that they're using from your inventory is out of tune and it needs new strings. Something like that. Like, I mean, people are people, and there's going to be some understanding there. So just keep them calm. One of my secrets is I don't tell them when I hit record. You know, sometimes I'll give them a few warm-ups, but more often than not, I will record almost everything, because you never know when you're going to get those little moments of magic where it's just like, yes, that. So that's one of my secrets. I just record all the time, and I don't tell them all the time when I'm going to be recording. And that's how I've gotten some of my best clips is from them not knowing that they're recording, because I mean even doing these videos, there's so many outtakes, right? And there's so much of recording as musicians that we miss when we're not recording. So just record all the time. Number 4, this is one that a lot of people ask about. What program is better for recording a session? Would using GarageBand from Apple be just as fine as if I were to use Logic? They are technically both made by Apple, but I think the biggest question here is, what level of software do I need? What level of investment do I need? I do cover this a little bit in my first video. You can check that out here. And it doesn't really matter. You know, it's whatever you're most comfortable with. The biggest thing is find a software that you like, that either aesthetically or it was given to you, whatever it is. Find one that you like and just learn it. Get really good at that one software. And then, you know, if it is an introductory software like Audacity or GarageBand, which GarageBand is actually pretty decent, then over time you can level up. And you can, you know, whether it's money and you invest in a higher end software that has more plugins, more stock plugins, or just has more capability, which dollars don't correlate to professionalism. I'll say that for sure. Reaper, I think at the cheapest is like $60 or $75, and it is by far my favorite software I've ever used, and I've used quite a few of them. And so it doesn't really matter what you're using, just as long as you're comfortable with it. And then finally, number 5, as a musician, how can I prepare for a recording session? So this is kind of a similar, obviously it's just a flip version of question number 3. I think it was 3. Where as a musician, just make sure you're prepared. Make sure that you've practiced. Make sure that you've warmed up properly. Make sure that your instrument's in tune if you're bringing your own. Make sure that if you need an instrument, you've communicated with the engineer or whoever you're recording with. And just make sure that you're taking it seriously and that you're being intentional about it, because, you know, you're asking someone else to give their time and effort, and you should reciprocate by doing the same thing and prepare for it properly. Because there's been a couple times where I've recorded people and you're just like, oh man, like, you can't even hear how flat you are, or you can't even hear that, you know, this section is just wildly out of time, and sitting there recording the same few phrases over and over just burns everybody out. And so make sure that you're prepared. Make sure that you know the music before you get there. Make sure that you're not learning the song as you're recording, and try to just be overly prepared, because that's going to pay off in dividends when you show up and you're able to just burn through the recording session, and you're not having to sit there and, you know, have music lessons with your audio engineer. So guys, that just about wraps everything up. Like I said before, I do have a free PDF guide down in the description. You guys can go ahead and grab that. It is completely free. It's my gift from me to you. If you are starting in recording or audio engineering in general, that's mostly what it was designed for, is to be able to help kickstart you and get you up off the ground. Helps kind of clear up some of any questions. I also have some other videos. Upstairs Studio is solely designed for helping new and upcoming audio engineers to elevate their recording game, and for home musicians to get more comfortable with recording, because it can be kind of scary. It's certainly expensive, but it doesn't have to be. And so that's my whole purpose here. So if you enjoyed the content, please consider subscribing, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks. Bye.